Hello there, everyone, and welcome back to the world of football. Hope you guys are all doing well. Make sure you smash the like, subscribe, turn on notifications to miss any great upcoming content. As you can see, we've got another guest show today. We've got Chelsea squad 24-25, keep, loan, or sell. I've got two special guests on today. We've got Doobz. How are you, mate?
Bless up, mate. Apologies in advance if I sound ill, because I am. But yeah, no, I'm looking forward to this.
Yeah. And we've also got Charlie for the first time. How are you, mate?
Yeah, all good, mate. All good.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, he's got his channel there. So if you guys want to subscribe to him, you can. And yeah, well, Jacob will be back in a second. He's just having some issues. But yeah, as I've said, we've got keep, loan, or sell. I've got a tier list up here. I'm just going to share my screen now. And we'll go through it. And we'll say whether we think we should keep the player, loan the player, or sell the player. It's pretty self-explanatory, I would think.
Yep.
Right. Is it all visible? Wait, hang on.
Not yet.
Yeah, I'm just going to share it now. There we are. Okay, good. Right. First off, I think we should start off with the goalkeepers that we have currently at the club. First off, well, Marcus Bettinelli. I mean, he's been pretty much as one of the backroom staff, for the past, you could say, 2 years, because he didn't really play that much. But yeah, well, what are your thoughts, guys? Do you think we should keep, sell, or loan Bettinelli?
No, he's just vibes. Keep him. He's vibes. He's just there. Yeah. He's a third choice keeper. Why would you bother getting rid of him? Yeah, no, he's quite an important part of the squad in terms of off pitch stuff. So yeah, no reason to get rid.
Yeah, as long as the wages aren't too high, I don't think they are.
Yeah,
anyway.
I see your point.
So yeah, just keep him. Why not?
Yeah, I completely agree as well. Well, next person, I don't think we need to speak too much about, do we? Robert Sanchez. I think we all know what we're saying here.
Yeah, he's gone. Yeah, can't be gone quick enough.
Yeah.
Yeah,
if we do get a fee for him, how much do you think? If we do get a fee for him, how much do you think we'll sell him for?
20 mil, 25.
Maybe. We're not going to get our money back on him.
I don't know.
Yeah, definitely not. But
there's no chance.
If I'm honest, the most we probably get. Yeah, the most we're probably getting is 10.
Maybe we'll get a bit because he could be a great kit model or something. I don't know, but
you might get 15 if you're lucky, but no, he needs to go. If you're a serious football club, and you want to progress, and you want to challenge for the big trophies, you're not doing that with Robert Sanchez as your first choice goalkeeper. Very simple. Yeah, okay, he makes some good saves and a decent shot stopper, but he's a complete liability. He's terrible with the ball at his feet, terrible distribution, and he's always going to make mistakes. That's never going to change.
Yep. And what's worse about it is that he doesn't learn either. He'll make the same mistakes throughout the season.
Yeah.
You might make it once and be like, oh, okay, it's just a one-off. But he makes the same continuous mistakes, which kind of made me think, is it on Maresca? But then I think to myself, nah, but anyway, just sell him.
Yeah, exactly. Philip Jorgensen. I don't know what to think of him, really. If I'm what do you think, Doobz? What do you think we should do with Jorgensen?
Well, if I'm going off what I'd want to do, if it's down to me, I'd bring Petrovic back, but also sign another goalkeeper, have them too, because I haven't been overly convinced of Jorgensen either, if I'm being honest. But he's not gonna be sold. If it was down to me, I would either maybe loan him or keep, or maybe just keep him to be in the squad. But I'd still want to sign another keeper in the summer. But I'll say lean towards keep.
What do you reckon, Charlie?
I'd keep him. There's a small part of me that thinks leave Penders in Belgium for another year because he's only 19. And part of me thinks because Petrovic going to Strasbourg has worked out quite well, I wouldn't be totally against sending out Jorgensen to Strasbourg and then just sign a sort of an older, experienced keeper as a backup number 2, and then roll with that for a couple seasons or something. I think that might be a better way around it. I mean, I think Jorgensen will be number 2, but I think he would benefit from going and playing week in, week out somewhere.
Okay, fair enough.
Hello.
Yeah.
Yo.
Right. Yeah. Sorry about that, Jacob. We've spoken about Bettinelli and Sanchez. Do you agree with Bettinelli keep and Sanchez sell?
Bettinelli, yeah. Well, we can't. I have to keep Bettinelli. Sanchez sell. I think he wouldn't be a bad number 2 goalkeeper, to be fair. But considering what we've seen from him, if we go and buy another keeper, then sell. But if not, then I think he's useful to keep. But I don't think a keeper's the top priorities, if I'm being honest. So I'll probably say keep him.
No, I completely disagree. I'm going to sell. But like, what do you think about Jorgensen though? Because we've just touched on him. I'm leaning more towards loan, if I'm being honest with Jorgensen.
I think he's. Oh mate, it's so bad. I don't even know Bettinelli's face. I'm having to stare at yours. Yeah. Yeah. Jorgensen played well in the final. I don't know. I don't really mind. Probably loan.
Okay. Yeah, I'd say loan as well then.
Yeah.
Yeah, fair enough. I'll do that then. Next. Chile.
So.
Why'd you say that? Because he's definitely brought some moments. Good physical play. He's not the player that we thought he was going to be. Yeah, he still has a bit of something about him. I think as a centre-back is a potential shot. I think the owners would like to see a centre-back coming in. We have got Levi Cole for foreigner. Tosin.
Thing is, we've got Levi Cole who's almost the exact same profile, left-footed, young. I think he's actually younger than Badiashile, so that's potential right there already.
Oh yeah, Cole over Badiashile all day.
And if we're going to bring in another centre back, that leaves us with Colwill, Tosin, Chalobah if he stays, Fofana. Yeah, I'd get rid of Badiashile if I'm honest.
Oh yeah, no, I completely agree.
Yeah, what do you reckon, Charlie? Same?
No, but it depends who comes in, because obviously there's probably going to be 3 or 4 centre backs leaving. Vega's going to go. The Sassy will go. Probably. Unfortunately, I think they'll try and get rid of Chalobah again.
Yeah.
Wouldn't completely rule out Tosin being sold if a bid's come in of 15, 20 million. I wouldn't potentially rule that out from happening.
Yeah.
I don't know. I do like Badiashile, and he was very good in the Conference League final, and there is something there in him, but I just don't really ever see him pushing on to be the player he can be at Chelsea, because I just don't think he's going to play that regularly. You know, he's just not going to get their minutes. You know, he's not going to play ahead of Colwill or Fofana, and whoever ends up coming in at centre back, he's probably not going to play ahead of them either. So, I mean, would I rather have Badiashile or Tosin as a 4th choice centre back? Maybe I'd rather have Badiashile. So, I'd probably keep on the premise that he's a 4th choice centre back, but I wouldn't be surprised if he got rid of him.
Yeah, no, I agree. I mean, the thing is though, Tosin obviously we got on a free, so the fact that that's it's pure profit. It's pure profit. So I think it actually probably makes more sense to keep Badiashile. But so I will go keep.
Yeah. Right. Next, we've got. Well, that's an obvious one. The Sassy sell. if I'm being
Oh,
honest.
he's gone. Yeah, he's
like,
gone.
there's not really much said about him.
Yeah, don't need
Yeah.
to waste any time on that.
Yeah, just have to see.
Get him gone, man.
Yeah.
Yeah. Levi Colwell, what do you reckon?
Keep.
Keep?
Yeah.
Yeah, I still think he can improve, though, but yeah, keep.
Yeah, definitely.
Colwell, you got to keep.
Levi
Colwell's still a really talented footballer.
There's still potential there, in my opinion.
I don't think he's done much wrong.
Now, there has been links with this player possibly leaving. Yeah, we've got Wesley Fofana next. I'll be honest, I'm going sell. I can't trust him. It's just the injury problems have just made me not trust him at all. Like, obviously, like at the beginning of like the season, he was considered a starter, but then I can't remember what game it was. But then he got injured. But then he came back for one game, I think it was against Leicester, and then he just got injured again. So I'm just thinking to myself, am I really going to trust you? So I'm going sell. What do you guys reckon?
No, I'd keep him. He's still, but I think
keep.
this is probably this will be his
Last
like
chance.
kind of last chance, really, in terms of is he able to stay fit for the course of a season? When he's fit, he's Chelsea's best centre back, you know, and we are a better side when he plays. But yeah, if there's another season where he's missing half to 3/4 of it through injury, then you know you have to kind of say enough is enough. But I'd be giving him one more chance, and you can't be saying like, oh, you know, we'll stick by Reece James, we'll stick by him, but then have this different standards for Fofana. You know, Fofana on his day, I think, is a top player. I'd keep him, but like Doobz said, this really is probably going to be his last opportunity next season. Like, if he can't stay fit, then we have to cut our losses.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, you guys have convinced me.
The thing is with Fofana,
you guys actually have convinced me there, because like with obviously Reece James, Lavia, like are sticking by them because of their injury problems as well, and yeah, I just feel like it's not fair.
Can I just say,
if we don't do that for Fofana for one last
the
time.
amount of money you spent on him and the amount of promise you've got him,
so yeah, I get your point. And if I'm being honest, I would keep him.
You're going to need to make some of your money back. And I'm telling you now, you sell Fofana now, how much money do you get? 40 mil? 30 mil?
30, 40 mil, the injuries would have killed him.
And so you...
Yeah.
And the owners are going to want to make a profit off of him. It's not... Well, not even a profit as in such.
Yeah.
You can't lose that much money. Like, it's not...
Then
don't
we've
forget
got
these owners want to make it sustainable. We can't go back. He needs to keep him. Fofana, on his day, he probably is our best centre back. So, yeah.
Yeah. Tosin next. I reckon keep. Like, he's been a good servant for us. Like everyone's calling him Unk at this point. He's literally like, I think, our most experienced player. So,
I think he's been our best centre
what,
back.
Tosin, you reckon?
Yeah. If I'm being honest, I think he has.
See where you're coming from with that. If I'm being honest, I would obviously keep him.
No, for me, Tosin is pure profit.
Obviously, if the owners think there's a bid that comes in and they think it's the right money, they'll obviously sell him because we got him for free. Whatever fee comes in, it's a profit. So the owners will be thinking, "Oh, more money there." But
if we're going to go for a big winger, potentially a good experienced centre back, then it only makes sense considering it's pure profit to sell Tosin. Again, I really like him. I think on his day he can be one of our better centre backs. I like the physicality he brings, and I think the experience he brings is great as well. But for me, it's pure profit. If we're going to go and buy 2 world-class players, maybe another striker, which we're going to sign 2 or 3 potentially more world-class players, and I think selling him just makes sense. I like Tosin a lot, and I think that he's actually been a key player in a lot of wins for us at certain times of the season. But for me, pure profit, you got to take the money.
I'd keep him on the premise that he'd be like a squad option.
I mean, what do you reckon, Charlie?
Like a 4th choice centre back, I'd keep him. Like he shouldn't really be playing on that regular basis, but he's obviously well respected behind the scenes. He's obviously important to the other players. He's a popular member of the squad, and as a 4th choice centre back, a rotation option, starting a few cup games here and there, maybe the odd league game. I don't see an issue. If he's happy with that role, then I would keep him.
Well, I mean, he wouldn't have come to Chelsea if he's not happy with that, realistically. And can I also just say, right, it's funny how we turn City players that aren't great or maybe on the decline or whatever, and we turn them into quality players. Like for me, Tosin fits in an Aston Villa sort of type squad very well. And if I'm being honest, if we didn't get him on a free, I would say keep him. And I don't think it'd make much sense to not. But for me, I think Tosin, you sell him to most teams, to quite a few teams, really, the top 10, top 12, and he gets in their team. So for me, I'm going to go sell.
Yeah.
I think either way makes sense.
I've gone keep, I'll be honest. I think he's a good option to have on the bench if you need him to come on. Even like Charlie said, if he's going to start like the odd cup game here and there, or like the odd league game as well. The thing is, what do you reckon about Renato Vega?
So I actually think he's. I don't think he's great.
I'd loan him.
I think he's a vulnerability at the back. I've said it all season. Even though I know Cucurella was our only option, I'd actually rather have somebody out of position playing at left back than Vega. I think he's a vulnerability. I know a lot of people don't agree, but I don't know. There's something about watching him that makes me feel nervous. I get a bit the Sanchez thing, not to the same extent, but I don't know.
No,
Really?
I would sell him because he wants to play as a centre back, and he's just not going to get that opportunity at Chelsea. I like him. I think there's a talent there. There's a decent player there. He's done reasonably well at Juventus, but you're probably going to double your money on what you paid for him last summer. And as I said, he wants to play as a centre back. The fact that he wanted out after 6 months from joining the club was a bit strange, given he would have surely known that he wasn't going to play as a centre back when he signed, unless we told him he was going to do that and we lied, which is very plausible because it's the sort of stuff that we would do. But yeah, I think you sell him and you bring in another left back, a natural left back as an alternative to Cucurella. So I would sell Vega.
What left back would you be interested in? Because I know a lot of the names that would come up is probably players that think and probably have the ability to start as a left back, but players like Kirkes and
Kirk is going to go to Liverpool. That's virtually done.
Yeah, I know. But then you look at players like Yilmaz. He was at Rangers. Is he still at Rangers? I think he is. I think he'd be an interesting little young left back.
I think you look at someone like Jarell Hayter at Ajax, who
I remember,
who I think if Liverpool get Kirkes, then Hayter would be a decent signing. I know he's only 19, but he's played over 100 games for Ajax. He's a left back. He can play centre back. He'd suit. He could invert. He can also be left side of the back three when we're in possession. So, yeah, someone like that would be a good signing and would make sense. But whatever we end up doing, we have to bring in another left back option this summer. But yeah, for me, Vega.
Can I just say, the thing is with players like Hayter, and I know you said they played over 100 games, but players like. But if you play over 100 games at such a young age, even though he's young, he's effectively a 24-year-old. If you look at, he's not going to be able to play consistently at a level as long as if you sign somebody that only played 30 or 40 games for Ajax.
That's not necessarily true.
I mean, you look at Sterling, for example. I know there's a lot more to it, but I think in a lot of situations, playing 100 sort of games when you're younger isn't always a good thing. Like, it can be, and it probably mean you'll get 2 or 3 great seasons, probably 4 or 5 great seasons out of him. But as soon as he turns 27, he's got the body of a 32-year-old. And a left back can be a demanding position, especially as formations are sort of slowly not coming a thing in the respect that you play different formations in and out of possession. And to be honest, it'll probably get to a point where you have 3 models or of a formation that you're changing constantly even more. I don't know. It's just something to put out there. I think Hato's a good shout. But...
Yeah. Next, Malo Gusto. What do you guys reckon with Malo Gusto?
But he's got to improve, man.
It's a hard one because if Caicedo's going to be an inverted fullback and that, then sell.
He won't do that, I think.
However, you look at the thing is with Gusto, and I know he hasn't had a great season, and I don't truly think he suits Maresca too well. However, under Pochettino, he was great. So maybe if Maresca can get a bit more out of him next season, then maybe he might be a decent player. I don't know.
No, I think
it's just I think the system. It's just the system.
Yeah, but
yeah, I'd keep him. It was very good last season. This season he's not been as good. He's still only 21. Yeah, look, the inverting thing don't really suit him particularly well. He's not comfortable on the ball in midfield. But yeah, look, one good season, one not so good season. Yeah, he should definitely be here next season for sure. Yeah. And he's not going to be starting on a regular basis anyway.
No, especially if he shaves the injury record as well.
Exactly.
I think considering what we paid for him, he's all right. I know he has
a good player. He's a good player.
But there we are. But to be honest, on the other hand, he does suit Pochettino a hell of a lot more in the grand scheme of things. And can Gusto adapt to such a change? But bear in mind, if we bring in another winger, then the way we go forward might change. Maresca might have stopped our wingers doing so much because he might think we don't have the quality. Maybe if you go and sign Rodrigo, no, he'll be playing on the other side. But if you go get a player like that, then maybe that Gusto might look a bit better. I don't know. Maybe it's something to think about.
Fair enough. Fair enough.
Yeah, you've got a point. Next, Ben Chilwell. I mean, obviously sell. He's actually like fair play to him. I mean, I know we technically kind of took that opportunity away from Trevor Chalobah, but yeah, it's obvious that Chilwell's going to be sold, isn't it?
Oh, right.
Yeah, he's done.
Maybe I know Mark Guehi. A lot of people really want, and I think Mark Guehi's a good shout. Maybe a swap deal plus a bit of cash. Oh, it's a cashless society, but you know what I mean. Swap deal, Chilwell, a bit of money.
That wouldn't be the worst deal ever.
You don't often see deals like that nowadays. It'd be good, but it's like you very rarely see swap nowadays.
Mate, the swap deals get spoken about loads, and they just never happen.
That's what I mean.
Yeah, but these owners are quite intelligent. Like, I think that if there was a good deal that could be made like that, I think the owners can do it.
Maybe be done in 2 separate deals. I don't know, but maybe it won't be a swap deal. Maybe it could get done in 2 separate deals, but it won't be like a direct swap, to my opinion. I hear it. Maybe Palace want to sign Chilwell, and we sign Guehi, but I think it'll be 2 separate deals.
I also think with Chilwell that selling him, considering of his high wage, might be hard. I think that we might either loan him, or I don't know. We might have to.
Nah, he'll be gone.
He'll be.
We won't be loaning him again.
20% of his wage.
No, we won't be doing that again.
I don't know. I don't see anybody who wants to pay that.
We're going to try and get him off our books, definitely. Obvious keep. Yeah, Reece James is an obvious keep.
Yeah.
Like, we just got to hope that these injury problems are gone. At the moment, the signs are looking okay. But let's just... Next season, he can keep that up.
Keep.
Look, Maresca is quite enthusiastic on Reece James. And he has said previously that when he's all fit and he's had a bit of time without injuries, he's the first player on the team sheet. For me, I think Reece James is, when fit, a player that Maresca wants to build his team around. So obviously keep.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a keep. Yeah, there's no. Yeah, as simple as that.
Yeah. So we've got Cucurella next.
Keep.
I mean,
yeah, that's a keep.
He's been one of our best players this season, without a doubt.
He's been our second best player. He's been our second best.
Cucurella, one of our best.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
genuinely.
very simple. Yeah.
Like when we first signed him, like I couldn't believe what I was seeing. That I thought he was going to be such a good player, but it's just I feel like the system didn't really suit him that much. With under like Graham Potter on the Tuchel, he only had a few games, and it was looking like quite good at the start. But then obviously Tuchel got sacked. Graham Potter came in, and you would probably think that he's worked with Graham Potter before, and you'd think that it was going well, but no, it wasn't. But then Pochettino found a way to invert him, and clearly it worked. And Maresca's kept that going. So
yeah, I think Maresca's
no issue with Cucurella.
I think Maresca's good because in a lot of ways he sort of doesn't make the mistakes Pochettino has. And I think I know he's very different in style of play, and I get all of that. But I think he's a bit of a better Pochettino in the respect that I think that he's fixed a lot of the problems. I know he's created a couple, but I think Maresca's the man for the job, honestly. And I think that I don't know if he'll be able to win us a league, but we've got to keep him.
Yeah.
We'll have to see next season, won't we? Because like we've got top 4, we've got Champions League football. Like the next step should be trying to compete for the title. If I'm not being
but you can't
outrageous here.
You've got to give him the tools to do it.
Yeah, that's what is my thing. I think this summer's going to show if the board is serious or not. We're looking at the board for the summer. If he gets backed, then our eyes are on Maresca to deliver. And then if not, but then if he doesn't get backed, then we could be lenient with Maresca. We can look at the board going, well, you didn't give him the players. You didn't give him a strike. Let's say you didn't sign a striker. You didn't give him another centre-back or winger. So what can you do? You set him up to fail. But if he does get back, it's a different story.
Yeah, 100%.
Do you know the thing is, right? Which is, I'm saying like the understand. Charlie, you might know him. Do you know Alosha?
Next.
I'll just say, Charlie, do you know Alosha?
No.
He hangs around with Anthony and his lot.
I don't know his name, but I might. If I saw him,
basically, he and his dad apparently saw Egg Barley, and he told Egg Barley we need a striker. I think everybody would say that. I think this was before Liam Delap signing came through as well. And according to Alosha, a good mate of mine, apparently Egg Barley went and a winger, which makes me think these owners are quite ambitious.
I mean, they are because they spend money. Like they are ambitious. Like
let's be honest, it's gonna take them. If they're gonna make the money back, it's gonna be very slow, isn't it?
The main issue with these owners is not that they're not ambitious. It's just that what they think is going to work hasn't been proven in football before, and a lot of Chelsea fans are struggling to believe in it. They're persistent.
And also,
going for kids.
Dude, I'm calling you out here. We had a similar conversation. I feel like that ownership protest was the most pathetic thing done by football fans in years.
And why?
Because you have to give them a bit of time. And bear in mind, I was a bit involved in it as well. I didn't.
Well, at that point, they'd had 2.5 years, and we didn't look like at that point. None of us thought we'd get top 4, did we?
2.5 years. I mean, considering that we was very unsustainable before, considering that there was issues under the Abramovich era, we haven't won a league in years at that point. We needed a bit of sustainability. I get the owners have made some mistakes, but I'm not being funny, right?
A lot of mistakes.
The owners have made mistakes, but if you're going to go, somebody's going to spend $1 billion and all that money on your club, and within 2.5 years you're having signs up.
Jacob,
I'm sorry,
Jacob,
and
Jacob,
that narrative on us Chelsea fans, because
Jacob, can I ask you something? If you said they spent $1 billion, so they're ambitious. If they spent $1 billion on water bottles, does that help the team?
Water bottles, yeah, but they're not. Why are you comparing footballers to water bottles?
I'm saying they haven't spent the money correctly. They haven't addressed what we need. We needed experience to come in. They continuously sign kids that they want to loan out and try and develop without addressing the main squad. And they've continued with that. Other than the first window where they bought players like Sterling, Koulibaly, Fofana, and Cucurella, other than that, they've persisted with this model of kids. And it hasn't brought us any. We finished 12th. They finished 12th in their first season. And last season we finished 6th, only because of like a bit of a purple patch towards the end of the season. And we won the Conference League.
And I'm not being funny. I ain't the only one saying this. I'm not being funny, mate. Do you know the person that organised this protest completely embarrassed himself? A lot of people didn't even go to the game because of the protest. You look
like. It was just I remember it's just a random fan on Twitter that just said, "Oh yeah, 6 p.m. Bovril Gate. We have to protest because of
this."
It's
normal, but 2.5 years of not getting it right because they spent £1 billion. If you're protesting over that, then I'm not being funny, but it is completely outrageous. And I've only recently got that opinion, but you look.
But they haven't spent the money correctly.
At the end of the year,
you were at the protest.
What?
You were at the protest, weren't you?
Yes, filming stuff. I wasn't directly involved in it. I got involved in a couple of the chants, but I didn't have a sign, and I wasn't shouting "Bowley out."
Oh, so you having a go at my sign?
What?
Or did you not like my sign?
No, I'm just saying. At the time, I thought it was great, and I did get involved to a certain extent. Not like that, but I also wanted to distance myself from it because I had frustration. But I felt like, say I said you annoy me, but then you don't turn around and try and beat me up, do you? I'm saying that it's a very large effort you've got to go to. Just at the end of the season. Do you think the owners have done a good job?
No.
Considering we've won a European trophy, we've got Caicedo.
But you don't base the owner. Yeah, but you wouldn't. But you wouldn't. You don't base whether an ownership is good or not on one season. You got to base it over the whole amount of time they've been here. So, you know, like this season, they have pulled back some credit, absolutely. But if you look at it overall for the 3 years that they've been here, the first 2 seasons weren't a good job. This season has been better, and we're going in the right direction.
Yeah.
But this summer is so important now. So look, I was looking at it and think I'll give credit where they've done good things, but also be prepared to criticize on the things where they've made mistakes as well. But like I think over the course of a 3-year period, you'd say that one season has been good, which was this season, and the other 2 haven't been good. Yeah. So overall in their tenure, there's been 2 not good seasons and 1 good one. So they're working their way back, but there's still a lot of work to do.
No, I get that, but is it really bad enough to have a protest and have a sign and have a big sign for it? And
that's down to certain people's opinions. It's not whether it's right or it's not. I don't think there's a right or wrong.
Mate, I'm not being funny. Personally, when most of our fan base is getting mugged off for it because of a few certain individuals, I'm not gonna be happy about it personally. Like, Doobz, I have a lot of respect for you. I think you're a great geezer, and I think you know your football very, very well. However, mate, I ain't being funny, but I could know you for 10 years, and I would say the exact same thing. You
Okay,
can't.
fair enough. But you said about mugging off. Everyone, if a team did a protest, everyone's going to mug it off. That's the way of social media. If Arsenal did a protest right now, we would be bantering them.
Yeah,
Did people mug off the Super League protest though?
No, because that's different. Though.
Yeah, that's because everyone agreed with it.
Yeah, that's completely different. That's completely different.
Yeah,
That was worldwide.
You say everyone agreed with it. To the top
because that was a wider
clubs,
football issue. That wasn't a Chelsea specific issue.
Two
That
of
was
the top Spanish clubs was opposing the Super League.
Okay, 2 out of how many teams
And
in
the
Europe?
fans. So to say, and to be honest, most likely you could definitely say the 2 biggest clubs in the world thought the Super League was a good idea. So and the fan base. So you can't say it was a good idea.
No one said it was a good idea.
You mean the protest or the actual Super League?
No, the Super League. So you just said everybody agreed with the Super League protest, but they didn't because the fan base of the 2 biggest clubs in the world didn't.
All right, well, 90% then agreed with it.
90%. Yeah, but I'm not being funny. The 10% and the 2 biggest clubs hold a bigger share than Chelsea.
But what's that got to do with the fans' opinion?
What's it got to do? Because what I'm saying is that you can't go on with a sign. And plus, mate, I'm not being funny. Like, I hate Arsenal, but even though they haven't won a Champions League, they've been in the last couple of years of the sign being, they've got second twice. And I know they're not winners. They're definitely not serial winners by any means. They've got more league titles than us, more FA Cups, more Carabao Cups, if I'm not mistaken. And also because, mate, I'm not being funny. Go back 40 years.
No, you're not being funny. You said that enough times.
Be back 40 years ago, mate. We were rocking. We weren't in that second division, mate. We weren't winning anything. And I'm not being funny that I'd say we're definitely more winners than Arsenal, but I think you can pick every single word out from that. And
yeah, but
it just doesn't make sense.
Clubs develop. Look at Man City. Look at where Man City were like decades ago.
I'm just gonna.
We're gonna move.
Yeah,
on. We're gonna move.
You wouldn't say
we can have this debate on another stream. But, can have this debate on another stream.
But mate, Arsenal.
Yeah, we're gonna have this.
Arsenal. Forget Arsenal. We're not talking about Arsenal.
Right, Jacob, we're gonna have this debate on a different stream because we're on a time limit.
No, but it's relevant. It's relevant. It's relevant.
Yeah, but we're doing the tier list. Why are we talking about Arsenal?
Can I just talk, Joseph? When I proved you wrong, and I proved Cian wrong, you both tried arguing it on camera. Then after camera, you both were almost begging on your knees, apologising. So, and that's exactly what's going on.
What?
Right.
What do you mean? What? What do you mean? What? You know exactly what I'm talking about.
Right. Yeah, I know exactly what you're on about.
I'll put the link in the comments.
All right, can we just move on to the next player? I've got my food to eat downstairs.
Right. Yeah, but we're moving on. We're moving on to Romeo Lavia now. I mean,
because we know you're wrong. You do it every single time.
No, we're just moving on because it's
no. Yeah, we've just gone on about 10 minutes about flipping Super League, Arsenal, Man City, everything. Like, we're meant to be talking about
40 seconds, not 10 minutes, mate.
40 seconds?
Right.
You wonder why I had a headache for the last 2 days after
we
had one of these heated discussions.
All right,
I think keep.
Well, it's like you're trying to get me off school, mate, honestly. I mean, cheers, I guess, but still.
Keep. Romeo Lavia.
Romeo Lavia is obviously a keep. I mean, even with his. Yeah, Caicedo, easy keep.
No,
Player
I say
of the season. He was awarded.
No, sell him.
Got a goal in the Conference League final.
I say sell him.
Yeah, but can I just say, Joseph,
you're joking, right?
Joseph, can I just say, I agree with everything you said, but you've got so many Caicedo moments, and obviously he's a ball winner, and then the first thing you mention is a goal, so can I just reword that, right? So Caicedo is a keep because he's a ball winner. He's got a strong mentality. He has a huge passion for the game, and he's a very good overall footballer. And also, he's very passionate. And he also scored a massive goal, which shows he can pop up in big moments.
You know, he's outstanding. He's our best player. It's a no-brainer.
This is really controversial, but I think he's on par with Kante at his peak. I don't know. I know it's a bit different circumstances, but maybe it's because I've been around for a lot more, or because Kante was sort of, as I started watching football consistently at least. But I don't know, mate. There's something about Caicedo.
I mean,
I just think that
I wouldn't say he's at that level yet. He's not at Kante's level yet, but
you could argue it for sure.
He's getting there. He's getting there.
But then also,
I mean,
Hazard,
Casadei,
Diego Costa.
Well, he's left already, Casadei.
Yeah.
Casadei left in January.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, there we go.
I actually thought that was a bit of a shame.
I'm honest. If I'm honest, so I just don't think we need him.
Yeah, it was already gone. Yeah, Chukwuemeka.
He's done. He's finished.
Chukwuemeka, I don't know.
No, I personally keep.
Yeah, it's actually really unfortunate with him. I actually think there's a really talented player in there, but obviously Noni Madueke keeps on going on about him being a talented player.
Chukwuemeka is one of the most talented players with his feet in our squad. I know it's done, but I think that we should have gave him a bit more opportunities.
Yeah, we should have given him more opportunities. But has anyone this season watched us and gone, shit, if only we had Chukwuemeka? No one's done that.
Put it this way: if
but at certain moments.
Jacob, let me tell you this. Let me ask you this: if Chukwuemeka didn't get injured, do you think we would have signed Cole Palmer?
No.
Exactly, and so
no, potentially.
Would you have taken Chukwuemeka over Cole Palmer after what he's done?
What?
I'm saying, would you rather have Chukwuemeka now over Cole Palmer after seeing what Cole Palmer's done for 2 years?
Obviously, Palmer. I'm not denying that, but I'm saying that Chukwuemeka could potentially be a useful player to have in the squad. He can play in lots of positions. He can almost be a box to box. He can play as a number 9. He can play as an advanced playmaker. He can play as a sort of Mazzala. He can be a shadow striker. So I don't know. I think he's a very good, versatile player in the attack. But I don't know. If they sell him this, whatever, we've got better.
Okay. Fair enough.
Yeah. Yeah. Next, we've got Keenan Dewsbury Hall. I mean,
to be fair,
I wouldn't be surprised if you guys said so here.
Yeah, he's going to want to leave, isn't he?
Yeah, he just hasn't got that many opportunities.
Yeah,
Charlie, what are you saying?
Probably.
No, I like Dewsbury Hall. So I feel like
I like him as well, but unfortunately, with Champions League football and with Santos coming in, he's just not going to play.
I think they've got to sell him. However, I will still try and argue at the time I want to keep him because I think he can be quite an exciting player. Probably the best player in the Conference League, you could argue.
Yeah, but he's just not going to play, though. That's the problem. Now we're in Champions League. He's just not going to play with Santos coming back. Look, he's probably going to go.
We've got a Sugo from Sporting as well.
There's no done, unfortunately. I mean, he might go on loan. I don't know, but yeah, I would probably sell him, even though I actually do quite like him. But he's probably going to have to go.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right. Enzo Fernandez next. It's an obvious keep, isn't it?
If I was playing FIFA and it weren't real life football, because I like Dewsbury so much, I'd keep him. But he's got to go.
Okay, but we're not playing FIFA.
Who are you saying now?
Right.
Okay.
Right. Enzo Fernandez is an obvious keep, isn't it, Jacob?
Yeah, that's
mate. We've got the best midfield in the Premier League, arguably.
Well, maybe options-wise, it's not the best unit right now, but yeah.
No, this is a thing.
McAllister, Gravenberch, Szoboszlai, and they're going to add Wirtz to that.
what I'm saying is you can argue it, and also I think that we have the most passionate Premier League. Passion in the respect that I feel like guys Enzo particularly, not in terms of player, but in terms of person.
Yeah, but passion
Enzo
doesn't make you a
Fernandez
good
reminds
player.
me of Thiago
Yeah, passion
Silva.
doesn't make you a good player. Mason Mount was passionate.
Really, but really, was he?
Yeah,
If he was that
yeah,
passionate, he wouldn't have snaked us.
He was passionate. And listen, we're not going to go into the whole Mason Mount thing, but there's reasons why he left. It wasn't just that he snaked us. Like, yes, the way he went about leaving and the goodbye message was poor, but there's reasons as to why he left. It's not just because he snaked us, but we're not going to
If
get
he
into
was that
that.
passionate, he wouldn't have sent a message 1 month before.
Like,
Yeah, I get that,
like you could say, yeah, but if you're making that passion argument, could say you could say the same for Conor Gallagher as well. Say the same thing
Conor
about
Gallagher
him.
was basically forced out.
Like,
Gallagher was basically forced
Yeah,
out.
They were both forced out at the end of the day, really. They were both forced out anyway, but not that it matters. But yeah. Yeah, Enzo, definite keep.
Yeah. Yeah. João Felix, I mean, why did we sign him?
Yeah, terrible. Get rid.
Yeah. Amari Kellyman, is he even still at the club? Like, I'm even confused. Like, is he still here?
He needs to go on loan.
Like, genuinely,
I say look, I think he's a good player to keep about, but
yeah,
he's a loan.
Yeah, I wouldn't mind loaning. Noni Madueke, keep.
Yeah, keep. Yeah.
Yeah. There's actually a bit of a debate with that because, like, obviously we've got Esteval coming in. Like, actually, I just wanted to know: will we have Esteval for the Club World Cup?
No, he's coming after the Club World Cup. He's going to play Club World Cup with Palmeiras.
But the thing with Esteval, can I just say this about Esteval?
Okay.
We shouldn't expect him to get into the starting 11 straight away.
Absolutely not.
A minute of Premier League.
Yeah,
He's never played
yeah, that's what I'm trying to say.
So,
yeah, people are hyping him up like he's going to be like the next flipping Neymar or something. Like, genuinely, he should be the type of person to like come in when needed, like start like an FA Cup game or Carabao Cup game here and there. Like, he should be that type of player, if I'm being honest.
You know, he shouldn't be. We should not be putting him in a position where he's expected to contribute from day one. No chance.
Yeah, exactly.
What did I say, right?
Mikhailo Mudryk, I think he's done.
So just get rid. Even before the thing, even before the whole thing, sell him.
If he comes out innocent, then keep him. And apparently, Barley thinks. My mate Alosha was telling me because he was talking to Egg Barley about it. But apparently, he thinks that somebody's basically said, because you know Mudryk's proper Christian, right? Apparently, somebody said to Mudryk, bet score on this or miss on this moment. Basically, threatened, said something along the lines of score it in or own goal here, so I can bet on it.
I'll be honest, this sounds like a waffle.
I'm going to put something.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. I didn't want to say it, but
yeah.
Jacob, even if you did say that, you can't take everything Egbali and Bowley says as gospel. Todd Bowley said a couple of years ago that we beat Real Madrid 3-0.
I do think he's been sabotaged though, by the way. But
He has definitely been sabotaged. Like this
and
sample.
Also, dude, no offense, but I think no offense, right? But
like this sample that Mudryk had. Like, I don't think it's even available here.
Dude, let me talk. Dude, let me talk. I'm not being funny. No disrespect to you, but I'm more likely going to take the advice of somebody that owns the club or owns the club than somebody.
It's just an opinion, though.
For having a controversial side.
But I'm saying my opinion. I don't think we should take everything that the owners say as gospel because they're not gonna come out and say, oh, we're not gonna sign anyone to the fans. That's just gonna cause even more.
And he's not gonna come out and say, oh, by the way, he's definitely done it and he's fucked.
No, but what I'm saying is it's a potential. So you gotta because it's definitely something worth noting. I mean, definitely. I mean, I'm not being funny. I think the owners is a pretty good source for information in a lot of things.
Okay. All right. You know what? All right. Cool.
Considering he said we need a striker and a winger, then
Yeah, but anyone
a few
could have
hours
told you
after
that.
But we could have said that. Yeah,
Ritz
but
Romano
Monday
was
we could have
like,
told you that.
Literally, we could have had a blind Stevie Wonder come in and say, "Oh yeah, we need a striker and a winger," and everyone would believe it. Like, just comes down to that at the end of the day. Next,
Pedro Neto.
we've got
Now I'm going to be honest.
Pedro
I'm gonna be
Neto.
honest. Yeah.
I would keep him.
I'm going to be honest. I
if
haven't
I'm
been
being
that
honest.
impressed with him.
You guys agree?
I haven't been that impressed with him this season. I'm not saying sell him, but he needs to step up. We've got Esteval coming in, and we're going to sign another winger.
I think. What do you expect? What do you expect, mate? I feel like you guys need not your Doobz in particular. You also a bit of what do you expect him to come and do? I don't think underwhelm's the right word. I think he could have improved.
I think he has been a bit underwhelming.
Bear in mind, he's had to play it at points in a striker where he's obviously not suited to it.
Yeah, no, you're right.
He's literally been put. It's like being expected to sleep when you've got the fastest when you're on a roller coaster. Like
but I don't think it's unreasonable to expect a little bit more from Neto this season than what he's given. I'm not saying he's been bad, but I personally would have expected a bit more from him. Now look, if you sign a striker with a box presence that can get on the end of the balls that he puts into the box, then his output's going to look better, and that changes the conversation around him. But I just would have expected a little bit more. There was some good. He's done some good stuff this season, but overall, I would look at it and I don't think it's unfair to say that he has been a bit underwhelming over the course of the season.
Look.
My thing is this, right? So he hasn't been bad. I'm not gonna say he's been horrific. He hasn't, but we signed him for 60 million. And for what I'm saying, how he's performed this season, considering we've got Esteval coming in and we're looking to sign another winger, I'm just saying he's got to keep on his toes. Like the season he's just had isn't enough to warrant him starting every single game in the Premier League or the Champions League. That's just my thing. I think Noni Madueke's had a better season, in my opinion. And I'm even sitting there going, Noni Madueke's not safe in the starting 11 either.
Can I just say, the thing is though, like, oh mate, we've had this conversation with loads of this. The thing is though, if you word it like that, then it makes a bit more sense. Bear in mind, I just want to say, Esteval probably won't be near the first team next season because I think, but this is my honest opinion because I don't think they're going to rush him in. But the thing is, you can't. If you explain it properly, then it makes sense. But if you don't explain it like you just done, then it's a bit odd to understand.
All right, my bad. But I'm just saying, you sometimes when you explain things, you start talking about sleeping on roller coasters. So sometimes it's hard for us to understand like your point of view as well.
But it makes it's quite simple. It is quite simple, and obviously I explained that, so it works. It works in context as well. I can explain it again.
Yeah.
No, it's okay. We'll move on.
Honestly, most of these videos I'll end up having to explain it 20 times. Sleep.
Right.
It's under immense being put up front when he's not suited to it. When he hasn't had a proper, let me talk. When he hasn't had a striker, a proper, decent physical striker that's consistent to have, then it's like asking somebody to sleep on a coaster when they've got the speed.
How does having a tall physical striker improve his crossing and his finishing?
Well, it doesn't improve.
I'm sure if you have a striker getting on the top of some of their crosses, then I'm not. Then you'd
but my point is the crosses are sometimes poor. So it's not even if you had a tall physical striker, you wouldn't meet it. That's my point. Yes, you know what, you're right. There has been some times where he's got the ball in, and Jackson, because we know he's not good with the ball on his head, hasn't taken a chance. But I'm saying there's been also times where he's put in poor crosses and he's taking shots that are going sky high. Like, I think the best finish I've seen him this season was against Fulham, the last minute winner. That was the only time I saw him properly, and maybe Arsenal as well.
Yeah, look, I think Neto could improve. I don't honestly think you can ask for too much more considering the circumstances. But next season, if he comes out with similar numbers as he has, then I would probably say maybe a bit more would be nice. But personally, I don't think Neto's a finisher, is in such. So I think the finishing shouldn't be so much to worry about. Bear in mind, I'm quite happy that Neto hasn't been getting too many injuries, considering I think you were talking to that always Wolves geezer, Charlie, and he was saying because
his injury record at Wolves was not good.
What?
His injury record at Wolves wasn't good.
Yeah, and that's what I heard from it. I actually watched him a couple of times before that. I think he actually talks fairly well.
Yeah.
I think he talks quite well. I have a lot of respect for him. And I was listening to that and I thought, well, online I always stat check everything because I only seen him a couple of times, stat checked it, and it said the exact same thing of what he was saying. So the fact that he hasn't got injured alone, I'm quite thankful about. So for me, to be honest, that's my main sort of test for him this season, and he's passed it. So I don't know. And also, with them injury records still available, still there though.
Right. I'm going to get the obvious ones out of the way. Yeah.
And Kunku gone.
So,
Kunku's gone.
Yeah, I'm going to get the obvious ones up. Yeah, and
You say it's
Kunku's
obvious,
gone. Like, it's already confirmed. Obviously, Cole Palmer is an obvious keep.
Can I just say?
Yeah. Mark Q, I would say loan. Would you agree?
You ain't going to interrupt me. You ain't interrupting me, bruv. Even though you say in Kunku's an obvious sell, I think you should sell him by all means. But I'm not being funny. He hasn't been put in the best situations. He doesn't look like he tries much, and I'll definitely sell him. But I feel like he doesn't deserve all the criticisms he's been getting. I think he deserves most of them. But I'm sure if you put him behind the Liam Delap, he might actually look quite good. I don't know.
So what you're saying is he doesn't deserve 100% of the criticism. He only deserves 75% of it.
Yeah, he's been crap. That's it.
He's been poor. He's been poor, mate. Like, every time he's gone on the pitch,
he's not been good. Simple.
I'd personally maybe give him 1 or 2 games in a sort of start of the Club World Cup, see how he gets on.
Where are we going to play him? Where are we going to play him?
He's done. He's done.
Yeah, I'm agreeing with you, but I'm just saying there's 2 sides to everything, and I obviously want to explain the other side as well. Because I'm not being funny, it is a very boring video of 4 people saying the exact same thing. And I'm just saying the other side of it. I agree, I think he's been poor, I think he should be sold. I think that he's made way too many mistakes. But it is important to note that he hasn't been put under the best circumstances.
Yeah, sure. No one's disputing that. But when he's played, he's not been good enough.
No, I agree.
And what was this? Tariq George?
Right.
I'd loan Tariq George.
Yeah, I'd loan George as well.
Well, no. Okay, Sancho.
Yeah.
Tariq George. Tariq George. I would loan him because I don't think he's good enough to play most Champions League games.
Yeah,
so definitely. Yeah, keep Sancho and is that last one George?
Yes, George.
Yeah, loan George out.
No, that's Jackson.
Oh, keep.
Oh, it's
Jackson.
Yeah, keep.
I'm not gonna lie though. If we are gonna bring in another striker, is he gonna want to be a third choice?
Nah, I think he'll stay, and I'd keep him.
You know what? We obviously don't know. Yeah. Genuinely, that I think that's what happened as well. But if we get another striker, then I wouldn't rule out him going.
That's what I'm saying.
No,
yeah,
I would say him. I don't think.
Like, if we get a Gyökeres, for example, he's gone. Let's be honest. Like he's got no room in there.
Jackson. I don't think you can go wrong with it. But 12 goals in a Premier League season? I know he's been injured. But there was a point where he hasn't scored for 4 months. No, 2 or 3 of them months.
Yeah, remember he got injured as well.
Yeah, I know. I've just said that.
He had a period after the Brentford game where he didn't score for a while. So yeah,
and also
it's worse than
I feel like
if we get a striker, then
so I think either or.
Well, yeah. Anyways, I mean, I think that's a pretty good list. If I'm being honest, we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16 in the keep. We've got, I think that's 10 in the sell and 3 in the loan. So yeah, I'll be honest. There's a few ones where it's a bit we'll see what happens. I think Wesley Fofana's one of them. Probably Badiashile as well. If we get centre backs in, Jackson is obviously one to watch as well. But yeah, that's a pretty rough idea. I mean, think that's pretty much it. So, yeah, thank you very much, guys, for joining me. It's been a pleasure. Thank you very much, Charlie, for coming on. Thank you very much, Doobz. Yeah, thank you very much to Jacob, who's been a regular for this past few videos. And yeah, we'll see you guys on the next video.